Hi, everyone. On behalf of IAUG, I would like to welcome you to today's webinar, Omni-Channel Simplified, presented by CCT Solutions. Thank you for participating in today's webinar and for your continued support in this IAUG program. Before we begin, I have three quick housekeeping items to go over. First, today's webinar will be recorded and available for on-demand. You will receive a follow-up email with the on-demand link from today's webinar to that. Second, a Q&A session will follow today's presentation. All questions will need to be entered in the question window near the bottom of your GoToWebinar screen. Third, there will be a short evaluation that pops up as you exit the webinar. Please make sure to take a minute and let us know what you thought of today's session and what you might like to see going forward. Let's get started. Duke, I'd like to now turn things over to you.
Great, thank you, Paige. Can everybody see my screen and hear me okay? I guess the audience doesn't have audio feedback. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We are excited to kind of take you through a little bit of a tour of how we view omni-channel. Omni-channel is a pretty nebulous word that you ask 20 people, you'll get 20 different answers as to what it is. Joining me today is Stefan Schneider, who will be doing a demo for the second part of today's session, and then also one of the owners of our company, Uwe Kruder. And at any point, if you all have questions through the GoToWebinar dialogue panel, you can submit questions and we'll try to answer questions as we go throughout. And with that, I'm going to move forward. So what we're going to do today, we're just going to spend just a couple of minutes briefly up front, just kind of talking about omni-channel and kind of the history of omni-channel, because again, as I mentioned earlier, I believe what I see is a lot of confusion and a lot of people have different expectations of what omni-channel is, and that's understandable because it can mean a lot of different things. So that's one of the things I want to touch upon briefly. And then we're going to do a little bit of an overview of what CCT Contact Pro is and how our omni-channel solution really addresses those trends within the omni-channel market space and how we allow organizations to adapt omni-channel capabilities in a quick, easy way with the systems that they have in place. And then at the last part, we're going to switch over and have Stefan Schneider take us through a pretty detailed demo and show you how an agent can handle multiple channels of interaction with deep CRM integration. And then we'll wrap things up with a Q&A. So, you know, I've been in this space for almost 30 years now, and for my whole entire history, I have, you know, seen the evolution of both multi-channel and CRM integration occurring. I mean, in the very, very early days, multi-channel was about, you know, providing email blending with voice, and really in the beginning, it wasn't even blended. It was just another channel of interaction that organizations were offering, and then web chat, you know, kind of became another way for organizations to offer customers to interact with them. Kind of in parallel, you had another wave of technology around CRM integration, and that CRM integration was really mostly focused around voice. And the most common thing, if you ask people what CRM integration is, what you're going to get the first reply is, well, that's screen pop. You know, when I get an inbound call, I want a screen pop of who that caller is. But over the years, that has evolved to be also, you know, well, let me, when I'm in my CRM application, let me click to make an outbound call. And as I'm making calls or receiving calls, I maybe want to start logging those activities inside of my CRM application. So these trends have been happening for the last 20 years, the evolution of this technology. It didn't all happen at once. You know, back in the 90s, one of the first call centers I worked in, I mean, we were kind of state of the art because we had inbound screen pop, you know, and it wasn't until 10 years later that the click to call and the activity logging pieces were developed and evolved into the solutions. So to me, and at CCT, omni-channel is really just the fusion of multi-channel and CRM integration. You know, and it's the natural evolution of things. So now when we talk about multiple channels, it's also newer integration channels such as SMS, social media, mobile applications, fax. It could also be outbound contacts, whether it's a outbound voice call or an email that's sent to remind a customer, or an SMS message to, you know, notify a customer of something. There are many different forms of customer interaction that are happening now, and they all need to be coordinated together so that your CRM integration, especially the activity logging aspect, you have a really complete view of every customer interaction that's occurred. If there was an outbound SMS message that triggered an inbound call that then followed up with an email, you as an agent or a worker in an organization looking at a certain customer's history, you want to see all of those different interactions and be able to see the sequencing of those. And then over time, you also want to do some analytics of those kinds of interactions to see if there's certain trends that, certain kinds of SMS blasts result in better caller response, certain kinds of emails result in better, messaging and customer activity. So there's a lot of analysis and analytics that goes into this CRM integration, but it all starts with logging those activities. If you're not putting those activities inside of your CRM, you're missing out on a big part of the value proposition of CRM integration. Having all of my contact activity, having all of my call history over in CMS, that's nice, but I can't query CMS and say, pull me a list of all the customers who have spent more than $10,000 lifetime who I've not spoken to in the last year. If you're not merging your CRM history with your CRM customer data, your interaction history and customer data, if you're not merging those together, you miss out on some of that insightful types of analytics. So CRM integration is really about looking at all channels. So it's not just a screen pop for an inbound voice call. It's a screen pop for an email. It's a screen pop for a chat. If an outbound contact is assigned to me, it's a screen pop. If a scheduled callback for a customer is assigned to me, I get a screen pop. And that screen pop includes a view into the customer history, the customer journey, because I see all of those activities that have been logged. So that natural evolution is really what CCT Contact Pro is trying to take advantage of. These technologies have been evolving for 20 plus years. And so the change to the phrase omni-channel is really just multi-channel and CRM. As you can see here, when we talk about our omni-channel workspace, what it really is, it's a workspace where an agent has the ability to handle all channels of customer interaction with deep CRM integration for every interaction channel. So as I mentioned before, I get screen pops and journey maps, and I get response templates, and I can do callbacks and scripting and surveys. All that information is all tied together and presented to the agent in kind of a nice, cohesive manner. The goal of the agent workspace is to make that agent more efficient. Anything that you can do to make that agent more efficient, the better they are going to be at making that customer happy. Because at the end of the day, customers equate satisfaction with how quickly did I get done what I needed to get done. So if I'm not helping the agent be more efficient through response templates and good scripting, I'm not helping that agent to satisfy that customer as effectively. Our focus at CCT as a DevConnect partner is to really provide solutions that complement the Avaya solution. So we are not trying to take over what Call Center Elite does and that that voice routing and queuing that's in place today. We want to integrate with that and complement it. In our agent desktop, as you'll see today, we're tying into some of the reporting information that's coming out of Communications Manager and CMS and presenting that to agents and supervisors so that CMS is not your only reporting source. We are integrating with things like Experience Portal and Palm to complement those applications to provide an organization ways to automate certain functions, but yet provide the agent a singular unified workspace. We can also integrate with Avaya's co-browse server if a caller or a chat customer want to co-browse with an agent so that the agent can show them how to do something. Avaya Zang is an SMS gateway solution that we can integrate with. Context Store takes information from a customer's website and we can present that information to an agent also. So we really focus on integrating with Avaya. That's our focus. We've got multiple customers that have over 2,500 agents with our agent desktop, and we were very proudly awarded the DevConnect Global Partner of the Year several years ago. So we've got a deep history with Avaya. We actually also integrate with Avaya's Interaction Center, the AIC platform, and Avaya's Elite Multi-Channel. we can integrate with those and be an agent desktop, or we can be a long-term replacement for those solutions and kind of a stepping stone also to Oceana. Our agent desktop could also integrate in an Oceana environment where we're letting Oceana route the voice calls just like we allow Call Center Elite to route voice calls. So looking a little bit more deeply at, kind of a complete feature list of Contact Pro, as mentioned before, it's really about, multiple channels of customer interaction and handling those in a blended fashion, but then also doing deep CRM integration for screen pops and journey mapping for every customer interaction. So that's a real focus and highlight of our product. But some other aspects of it that are, really valuable is the ability to have some pre-built integrations with some of the most common CRM applications, but we also have an SDK that allows us to do a lot of custom CRM integrations. Many organizations don't just have one CRM. Some organizations have multiple CRMs, and they might want screen pop and journey mapping into multiple applications simultaneously, because maybe an agent has to be working inside of multiple applications in the handling of any one customer interaction. So it might make sense to pop multiple screens, to log activity into multiple database applications to help that agent do their job more efficiently. Because again, at the end of the day, our goal is to help that agent do their job more efficiently. From a multi-channel perspective, voice, email, chat, SMS, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp. Line is another messaging app that's kind of more prevalent in the Asia Pac region. So many in the US have not probably heard of Line before. But we really are trying to allow that agent to handle all of the most common forms of customer interactions. One of our newest developments that we're working on now is integrating with chatbots. So I look at a chatbot as much like an IVR. I want to either partially or fully automate a customer interaction. But we realize that sometimes these automation technologies can't handle the task 100%. So you need to have a mechanism in order to allow the customer to transfer from the automated system to a live agent. So our chatbot integration allows an agent to receive a transfer from a chatbot, and the development we're doing with one or multiple, Cognigy is one chatbot solution we're working with most closely, but we're designing our solution so that it'll really work with a broad range of chatbot types of solutions. But what we want is an ability for a chatbot to transfer a contact out to a live agent with context. We want to make sure that any interaction history that happened during that chatbot dialogue gets transferred over to the agent and gets stored into our journey map. So that's kind of a little bit of a future kind of thing that I've put into this slide here, but that's definitely, a very valuable piece and a very focused part of where we're taking our company. We've also recently added the ability to handle outbound calling and scheduled callbacks. And you can do this without the Palm system. If you want high volume predictive outbound dialing, you need a good robust dialer like Avaya Proactive Outreach Manager. And we have an agent desktop that works with Palm. But we also have the ability, if you just have, a couple hundred calls a day, or you have customers that want to enable like a web callback button on their website, you can do these things. And the scheduled callbacks could also be a scenario where an agent is handling a call and the customer is like, oh my goodness, my child just fell down the stairs. Can you guys call me back tomorrow at 3 o'clock? So we have a mechanism that the agent can just put that right into the system, and at 3 o'clock tomorrow, a callback will be made to that customer, and that callback can be assigned to a specific agent, or it can just be assigned to a skill so that it just goes to one of any available agents that have that right skill. To complement both our inbound and outbound calling, and mostly kind of designed for outbound, we have an agent workflow scripting engine that allows a supervisor to control the script that an agent is seeing to help that agent get through calls consistently, make sure that they're asking all of the right questions and gathering all of the correct information that the organization requires. So that agent scripting is really valuable for agents that are maybe kind of new and not as well trained. experienced agents, they kind of know what they're doing. They don't need the scripting as much. So that's why it's kind of maybe more geared towards like an outbound center, because outbound call centers tend to have less senior types of agents. But this scripting could totally be used for an inbound call center environment also. We have the ability to integrate video and mobile phone apps through a couple of different, through a couple of other Avaya DevConnect partners, CafeX and Moxtra specifically. And a use case scenario there would be that maybe a customer is calling about their broken water heater, and the service repair company is like, well, hey, can you show me, can you show me a picture, or can you turn on the video on your mobile phone so that I can actually see the model of your water heater, or see where the leak is coming, or see what the little display is showing. Being able to incorporate that mobile phone video stream into the contact center can once again help an agent handle that customer interaction more efficiently and drive better attach rates and better customer satisfaction. Part of our agent desktop is a true media termination soft phone functionality, so that I don't have to have a physical hard phone. I don't need to have the Avaya 1X communicator or Avaya 1X agent application running on my workstation. I can just, within our agent desktop application, I can enable a media termination soft phone, so that I, as an agent, can sometimes work from home and I'm just using my soft phone through my PC. But then when I'm in the office, I can log in through a slightly different method where I click a different button and say, oh, today use my hard phone. We also support, not noted here, but we also support the teleworker option, that if I'm working somewhere where maybe my internet connection isn't such a high quality that I want to do voice over the public internet, I want to maybe have the phone call come to my mobile phone while I'm working remotely. The Avaya teleworker option is something that we support also. So one of the things you'll see today when Stefan takes us through the demo is a very highly customizable agent workspace. It really allows you to tailor what the agent's workspace looks like, to allow them, yet again, to have the necessary information that they need at their fingertips so that they can be more efficient. As part of any kind of omni-channel solution, it's a necessary requirement to have solid real-time and historical reporting. Our real-time and historical reporting is really focused around the non-voice contact channels, because when you're, for your voice contacts, you can look at your CMS data and you've got a lot of data, and we're going to kind of replicate a lot of that same data. We're going to have that, but our real focus is around, what's happening with the chat and the messaging and the email. Those interactions, they're not going to, you're not going to be able to report on them through CMS, because we are routing and queuing those through our own subsystem, and then we are blending that routing and queuing with the voice, so that if there's a lot of voice calls in queue, I can make a few agents not ready for chat, and I can blend back and forth. So it's really important that we're able to provide that reporting around the chat and the email and the messaging interactions, because that's not going to go through your voice ACD. And we get very detailed in that reporting, because when you look at reporting around, especially at chat, agents often are handling 2, 3, maybe even 4 chats simultaneously. Well, obviously they're not working on all 4 chats concurrently at the exact same time. 3 of them are paused, and only 1 is the one that I'm actively typing on. But when I pause that one and start typing on a second one, and pause the second one and start typing on the third one, the different timing for the different, different amount of time of when an activity is paused or an activity is actually being worked, you as a supervisor might want to see that. So we're capturing that information into our database, which is something that a lot of multi-channel reporting and chat reporting and message reporting aren't going to capture that level of granularity. We have a nice fault-tolerant application that has browser-based systems administration to make it easy. It's also designed with multi-tenancy for organizations that have multiple business units that maybe don't want to have each other, kind of tinkering in each other's configuration and setup and design. It could also be deployed kind of in a cloud-like environment where multiple people are sharing the same infrastructure, but yet each has their own kind of separate system. And we do have, a list of about 15 different languages that we support for the agent desktop. And And with that, hopefully I've given you kind of a good broad overview of what Contact Pro is and our view on what omnichannel is. We've got, a lot of, development that we want to do in the future, including things like the chatbot integration, expanding our capabilities in the area of SMS outbound campaigns and things like that. I mean, there's a lot of capabilities that are still out there on the horizon for us to do. And we're excited about where we are, and we think that, we've built a really good, solid solution. So with that, I want to turn things over to Stefan for him to show you a little bit about Contact Pro and give you a chance to actually see it in action. And then at the end, if there are questions, I don't know whether or not we open up the bridge for people to ask questions via voice, but at a minimum, you can ask questions through the GoToWebinar panel. So with that, Stefan, I'm going to make you presenter so you can share your screen.
Thank you, Duke. So I'm happy to present you today the Omni client with all the capabilities. Not all of them, of course, we can present today in today's session, but I hope you get a brief overview about the omni-channel capabilities of our client. I just jump into our client. I'm logged in as an agent, and I'm currently working on 2 contacts in parallel. I'm working on an active email, and in parallel, I have Facebook chat so far. And with this email and this chat, I have also some backend systems enabled and open. I have here, and you see it in the screen, in this example, my CRM system. I'm working with the email, so in this case, Salesforce. And in parallel, if I switch to my Facebook contact, I have my chat transcript, and I have, with this chat transcript, I have a ticketing system where I can work, in this case, in BMC Remedy on my tickets. So that's the flexibility we want to show, that depending on channels, depending on queues, I can have different backend systems attached, multiple backend systems attached, and can work with multiple contacts in our client. Also here, seeing my email, I can work on my email. And in this case, I'm now the multi-contact agent. I will now bring up the customer view and start a 3rd channel. I have already opened on the right side my mobile device. I logged in, or I started the app WhatsApp, and I'm now just typing a WhatsApp message. I need help. And I sent this message to the contact center. And as I am available to have another contact, I receive this WhatsApp message. I can accept this WhatsApp message, and then I can start the communication with this customer through the channel WhatsApp, social media, and as Duke already said, this is of course also available for other social media accounts. So I see all the information related to this customer, phone number. In case if there is a customer identification, I would also see customer names, the question he raised, and then I can start answering, and all the features that are provided, in this case, by WhatsApp. So how can I help you? And then I will send this message to the customer, and so far I can start the communication. Of course, the benefit of WhatsApp and later on also SMS, I have additional options to create an attachment. So I have the possibility in WhatsApp to select from my gallery, or I can just select and make a photo. So I start the photo app of the WhatsApp system. So that's now, I'm just creating this photo. I will send this, and then the agent will receive this photo in this conversation. You see it now on the left side, and I can have a look at the same photo that the customer created so far, or of course, he can also take it from his gallery. So that's the functionality, as you are aware of WhatsApp, that is presented, making text messages, communication to each other, and of course, also exchanging images. I will now just end this contact, switch to another channel, which is quite similar. So I will go to the customer side again. I will open my SMS app. I will go into the SMS app, and then I will just start another message through the SMS channel. Need some help. I sent this message. I'm still ready. I received this message, and similar to the WhatsApp we presented before, I get my transcript, and now I can do a conversation quite similar to the WhatsApp conversation. I can answer the customer, and of course, what we also support in this case is similar to WhatsApp. We also support the MMS functionality, so I can also select an image here. I can send this image, and quite similar to the SMS functionality, the WhatsApp functionality, I can receive now the image through the SMS through MMS so far. So these are the two channels, quite similar from a functional perspective. I will now just switch to another channel, in this case on the website. So I'm opening a customer website we've created, and on this customer website we've created a functionality to implement a chatbot, and inside this chatbot we have also implemented a functionality to do a human handover then to the agent. So from a customer perspective, I have on the right bottom side, I have my chat button. I can click on this chat button, and on this travel page I have the possibility to book a hotel. So I will just bring back the client also in front because we only need this window so far. So I can start with the book hotel. So now what we see is, in this case, this is a communication between the customer and the chatbot. In this example, the chatbot is provided by Cognigy. So now we have the possibility to book a hotel. You see I have selection options here, but of course I can also do free text in this chatbot. This chatbot is designed to work in a specific flow, but also using AI capabilities like the natural language processing and other features in this. So I start my selection with a hotel in Tokyo. I click on the Tokyo. I get a presentation of different hotels where I can just browse through different hotels. I can select one of these hotels and just click on the book this hotel button so far. So then I get some information returned. So per night, $355 US. If I want to make the booking, then I say yes. And then I need to enter my travel information. So start of the trip, end of the trip, 27/2019, and first name and last name so far. So this is something that is completely customizable depending on the need of the customer's business, on your business, so far to define what's important to present to the customer. And then I can go through, do I want to have some specials in the future? Yes, I want to have information about hotels. And then I get a booking confirmation saying, okay, you're booked to the Conrad Tokyo Hotel between the 20th and the 27th of August so far. So this is how it works, but it's not only a flow that goes from A to B, but instead you can always jump into this conversation wherever you want. So I can just type something else saying, oh, I wanted to book a hotel in Bangkok, and then it will automatically present me offers for hotels in Bangkok. So I can just start from scratch. I can just jump in, and so that's the flexibility of this chatbot. That it's not I would call it a classic IVR flow, that starts at a point A and ends at a point B, C, or D. But instead, I can start at A. I can go to B, but then later on I can go back to A, C, D, and so on. And that's the functionality of this chatbot. Now I'm a little bit lost with this chatbot. I want to talk to a real call center agent. So I want to talk to an agent, for example. I can type in my message. The system will then just ask me, should I connect you to an agent? And as soon as I click on the yes, it will create the chat. I'm now in the queue because I have my maximum number of contacts reached. So as soon as I close one of these contacts, I will receive this test, this chat, sorry, And with this chat, I can start now the communication between agent and customer through the chat. So I have now my human conversation with the chat agent, chat customer, and can just do a normal conversation that's probably familiar to you. Some additional features in this chat is the option to exchange attachments. So depending on the configuration, the agent or the customer or both have the option to upload documents, upload images. Quite similar also what we've seen to the SMS and WhatsApp. So what I can do is from an agent perspective is I can just click on the attachment icon. I can then select one file from the local store, from a network drive, and I can just upload this file. And you see now on the right side in the customer window, the customer gets presented now a link where he can open this document. And as this document is a PDF, if I click on this document, it will open the PDF automatically in the browser. Otherwise, the customer has the possibility to download the document. And of course, this functionality is also available from the customer side. So the customer could also just take a document, upload the document, and the agent will then see it in his chat transcript so far. But as I said, very important, you can enable these functionalities, but of course you can also disable some of these functionalities just depending on the needs in the business of the customer and also maybe security restrictions and so on. With this chat, I have also the possibility, what Duke already mentioned. Duke mentioned that this client has the flexibility of a very, very specific layout. So create your own layout is what we call it. So I as an agent, I have the possibility with a simple drag and drop just to create a different customer experience. So I just move the chat to the right side. That I have on the left side a second screen, which allows me to work on the chat and, for example, the CRM system in parallel. This is the create your own desktop functionality that can, again, enabled or disabled, and this allows agents as well as supervisors to create a customer, in this case, agent experience, perfectly sized on the needs that they need for their daily business and working with the omni-channel client so far. We've not yet mentioned, I would say, the most traditional channel. In this case, the most traditional channel, the voice call. The voice call itself can be prioritized in different ways in the system. There are contact centers where the voice call has still the highest priority, meaning even though if I'm working on an email, a chat, WhatsApp, whatever, or multiple contacts, the system should still have the ability that the agent will receive always also a voice call because of SLAs, because of all these important functionalities, because of the real-time aspect of a voice call. So we have implemented different options on how we can deliver a voice call through an automation service. One is, as I said, voice has always priority, meaning I have, nevertheless, how many contacts I have always the ability to also receive a voice call, as well as we can embed the voice call into service level monitoring across all the channels. So this means in this case, the voice call is equal to all other channels, and just depending on SLAs, the system decides which contact from which channel is sent to the agent so far. So there are several configuration options in the system that allows, I would say, every contact center to create, especially with the voice channel, the delivery methods they need for their business so far. So what I will do now is I will just start an inbound call. this inbound call. In this case, I'm configured to receive, due to the priority of the voice call, to receive this call. And now I'm getting this call. I can accept this call, and there are now multiple options, like Duke already said, how we can connect the voice path, the voice stream, to our client. The traditional way is to connect to a desk phone. So we have a full both-way synchronization to the desk phone, but we also provide embedded capabilities for an integrated soft phone for the H323 protocol, as well as for the SIP protocol so far. So, and the last one, not to forget, for external agents or home agents, there's also an option with the Avaya functionality of the telecommuter to provide the voice stream to an external phone. So basically, we support all the options that are available from the Avaya Aura world, and this allows us to, again, have the best flexibility for each customer's needs.
What's nice about that is that the agent can choose that when they log in. So if today I'm logging in and I want to be a telecommuter because I don't have a good internet connection, I can choose that. Tomorrow I'm working somewhere where I have good remote internet connection, I can use the soft phone. But then the next day when I'm working in the office, I really like to use the headset connected to my hard phone, so I can choose that. So you get to choose when you log in what is your telephony endpoint.
Thank you, Duke. Yeah, that's correct. So with the voice call, of course, just going back to this call, I have the abilities for my soft phone functionalities. So I can choose make call, I can hold, I can transfer conference. So I would say the classic ACD features, but enriched with functionalities of integrated and external phone books, Active Directory integration, and of course also for this functionality and all other channels, customer identification. This customer identification can be based off an integrated customer database in our solution. But of course, I would say the most common one is that we make a connection to an external CRM, ticketing system, knowledge system, whatever, to gather all the required information and the required data to present on arriving of the contact. Nevertheless, if it's a voice call, chat, social media, post, to provide the agent as much data as possible with collecting all this information from the backend system so far. And just to close the agent session here, before we just have a brief look into the analytics piece, so the reporting, of course, we provide also statistics for the agent in the client. So we have wallboards, we have personal statistics on the right side. We provide graphical statistics about his personal performance, about how long is he talking in this call or working on this contact, average after call work time, average handling time. All these functionalities can be enabled, disabled to provide agent experience, and of course, finally also communication to other agents through presence functionalities. So I will now just close the client and bring the analytics into front. Our reporting system, it's a web-based reporting system that provides, on the one hand, real-time reports in a dashboard functionality. So this is just one sample view of different reports just in one dashboard. So we have real-time reports on a queue skill level. We have real-time reports on an agent level with several information. This one can be tabular, as well as you see here, graphical reports, where we also have different types of graphical reports. And this is something that can be changed by the supervisor. Of course, behind this, we have profile management. So the administrators and super users have the ability to define what reports, what skills, what queues, what agents is a supervisor in the dashboard, as well as in the historical reporting, allowed to view. And based on this definition, he still has the ability, quite similar to the client, that he can also drag and drop the reports and create his own personal dashboard for his personal view. So that's the real-time view of the analytics. If we just switch to another report, I just prepared one here. This one is an historical report. So we have historical tabular reports in different types. We have interval reports, we have daily reports, weekly reports, monthly reports, with quite a lot of columns here. So this is an example report showing the total queues per day, the interactions per day per queue. You see this is a quite stressed system here with total created of 130,000 contacts for date range of 4th August to 14th August. And this is now a report when you can see all these tabular reports, and you can scroll to the right and you see quite a lot of columns that are part of these reports. And of course, we have integrated into our analytics a few features to make life easier for the supervisors. We have a scheduling functionality to create scheduled reports, which are sent, for example, every morning to the business. Can also be stored on a network drive. These reports can be created in the CSV format. I can export these reports in Excel, in PDF, and I can, of course, create, based on my preferences, templates and favorites of these reports so far. So this one, tabular report, and I will now switch to another report here. That's a graphical report about established total queued versus total established contacts. Again, this one is a report by interval. So I've just selected one of the queues we saw before in the historical report. I selected one date, and I wanted to see, okay, what's the established versus the queued versus established rate. This one is used in Google Charts so far, so I have also mouse overs here to see additional information about this graphical report, and that's what we provide for several reports with graphical functionalities, of course, and the same for tabular in our analytics so far. I've come to my end of my demonstration so far. I want to thank you for your time and hand over to Duke.
Stefan, thank you. Great stuff there. A couple things that I just wanted to remind everyone of that, I touched on them earlier, and just, due to, time and trying to show everything in a demo is sometimes a little bit challenging, but wanted to remind you that the agent desktop could also be used as a, as a desktop for an outbound dialing campaign with the proactive outreach manager. So the Palm dialer, we can be an agent desktop for that Palm dialer. And also we can be a solution for callbacks. Oftentimes customers want a callback. Maybe it's because, too many calls are in queue and they don't want to wait, or maybe they just, decide after they get in and say, yeah, call me back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And maybe that might be a conversation they have with the agent, but it could also be a scheduled callback from the web. And it doesn't have to even be scheduled. It could be, I'm on the web, and on the website you offer the customer, click here to send me an email, click here to chat with an agent, click here if you'd like a callback. So we're able to support all of those different capabilities. And it could also be just a large list. It doesn't have to be an individual one-by-one kind of customer demand. Maybe you go through your CRM database and you identify a list of 200 customers that haven't been contacted in quite a long time. So you build a little small outbound campaign, you load that list into our outbound dialing capability, and we build that as a preview outbound campaign that's blended with the inbound calls. So when there's no inbound calls handling, I keep those agents utilized and I push them contacts to be called via the outbound calling. Another, a couple of other capabilities I just wanted to highlight, and then we'll wrap up here. within the supervisory or the Contact Pro management tool, there's also a capability on those chat interactions for a supervisor to be able to monitor a live chat, just like a supervisor can live listen to a voice call and silently monitor. A supervisor can live monitor an active chat session, and I can see the go back and forth between the customer and the agent as they're chatting. So that's a really nice feature that I don't see too many chat solutions have that. Another nice solution of our chat solution that, again, I think is somewhat unique. There might be some that have it, but we have the ability to integrate the Google translation engine so that a Spanish-speaking customer could potentially chat with an English-speaking agent, and we'll do the language translation automatically to help that customer, help that organization provide service at a lower price point. If I don't have to get special language agents, it allows me to, provide service more cost effectively. And then one other thing that wasn't highlighted, but it's another very nice feature that we spent quite a bit of effort developing, is the ability to capture information like a credit card number in a tokenized secure process, in a PCI compliant kind of process. So it could be an account number, a credit card number, maybe a social security number, something like that. If you want a way to capture that kind of information in a more secure fashion than just through the normal chat dialogue itself, then we have a special tokenized PCI compliant process that, again, kind of something I think is fairly unique. We don't find too many, I don't think there's too many organizations that offer chat capabilities that allow that. One last thing with regard to the chat is that it's really easy to implement. An organization can put a chat button on many different pages in their website, and then that button simply redirects to what we call a pre-chat survey on our system. And that pre-chat survey gives them a little dialog box that prompts them for information. I think that you saw it in Stefan's demo, where it prompts the customer, what's your name, what's your account number, what's your email address, and then all of that information is passed through to the agent. A supervisor can go in, or an administrator, not a developer, someone just with a little bit of training can go in and change that pre-chat survey dialog box to essentially change the routing and queuing of how certain customers are handled and what information you want collected and passed to an agent. So those are some unique things that I just wanted to highlight about our chat solution and the outbound capabilities before we wrapped up. I'm going to real quickly here make myself the presenter again, and I'm going to show here as we kind of wrap up. Paige, was there a way to open up the audio to the audience to ask live voice questions, or do they have to put questions through the panel?
The questions have to go through the panel.
Okay. Unless there are any questions.
A lot of questions.
I think we're pretty much ready to wrap up here.
Okay.
So thanks everybody for joining today. Hopefully this was informative. We look forward to hearing from you to kind of get into more details around your specific customer environment and current challenges and initiatives for the organization. What's nice is that we can easily be added on to an Avaya Call Center Elite environment. You don't have to, wait for Oceana to get all of the capabilities. You can do that today, and then when you're ready for Oceana, we provide a nice, easy transition because it's the same agent desktop and the same CRM integration. So thanks, everybody. Paige, if you want to close everybody out.
Yeah. Thank you to our speakers from CCT Solutions for taking the time to speak to us today. As a reminder, you will receive a follow-up email with the on-demand link from today's webcast. To find out more about the IAUG webinar program, visit iaug.org/learn. Please make sure to complete the short evaluation that will pop up as you exit the webcast and let us know how today's session went. From all of us at IAUG, thank you and have a great rest of your day.